Well, guys, Long Haul Larry, and this is a familiar view, I guess, huh? Um, I don't know how to start this really. John, I have talked to, John's a very good friend of mine, and I am going through a difficult moment at the time, and I had let John know, and he put it out on his last video that I was having a surgery, and then I needed prayers, and I do. Um, and so I wasn't gonna shoot this, I guess. The problem is I don't do very well with drugs, okay? And they got me really, really doped up and everything for this pain. And so I wasn't really gonna shoot because the last time I shot some things in the hospital and stuff, afterwards I was like, okay, what? I think my bare butt was even on there. But I'm just gonna have a quick discussion and try to get through this best I can. And I think that you guys had the right to know what's going on, and I know that you guys have been holding tight and wondering where I've been and what's going on and stuff. I have a big thing going on. I've actually started a business, and I'm actually going to be including you guys in this. And that's what I've been working towards, is trying to get this all set up, and it's been really hectic and crazy. I had a lot of little side things going on, and I'm trying to get videos caught up and stuff, but there's a big major thing, and it's going to involve people if they want to be involved too. But, I broke my back out in Maryland and got that patched up, and it did an awesome job. And I cannot complain about it. I mean, I was paralyzed, and they did the back surgery, and I woke up and I could move, I could walk, and it was a long recovery. It was really hard, but I came back to the trucking, and my boss held my job and stuff, and I came back and went out and drove, and I tried my hardest, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't drive over the road, bouncing down the road anymore. It wasn't gonna do it. I gave it, I think, 6 months or 8 months or something. I gave it all I could, and I had to come to the conclusion I couldn't do it anymore. The boss, he wanted me, I told him maybe a different capacity. He wanted me to come out there and be his mechanic, and I have no interest whatsoever to live in Maryland in a crowded situation, big city area like that. I live in a UP because this is God's country, this is mountains and streams and woods and, rural living. It's what I am. I can't live in a big city. Then, I said to him, I said, well, I could do dispatching like I did when you were on vacation. I could do that and help you out with that. And I know my boss, he wants to get out of the trucking part of it. He doesn't mind some of it and stuff, but he wants to get out of the day-to-day dealing with the truck drivers, dealing with the equipment and all that stuff. And so I, said we could do something like that. We'll work out a percentage or something, and I'll take care of all that aspect in the dispatching of the trucks and all that. And he said no, he didn't want to do that, and he kind of likes to be in control of things. My chest was just scratching like crazy. But instead he said no, and I had to say, well, then I have to go because I can't do this anymore. My back is not going to allow this anymore. So I came home and I did a lot of contemplating and thinking about different things, and took a little bit of time off, and then I decided what I'm going to be doing. I'll get to that in a future video. Right now it's about why I'm laying in a hospital bed. Well, ever since I broke my back like that, my lower back has been just trashed. I mean, I have a ritual pretty much. I get up every day, and the first thing I do is I go and sit on an ice pack, my lower back. Where my back was broken and they put the rods in and stuff, yeah, that's sore. But my lower back it's been worse. And I've had back issues all my life since I've been like 15. I've always had back issues. And always dealt with it. Had a big car accident when I was 15, and it kind of messed my body up a little bit, and my back and stuff. But ever since my accident, my lower back has been really bad. And I was working on a project over at the ferry house, and I needed to get some wood. And so I went over there, and I was picking up a beam, and I picked it up, and the guy was on the other end. He picked it up, and we loaded it, and we put it in the back of my truck. Then we turned around, and I was picking up the next one, and the other guy picked it up, and he kind of pushed when he picked it up, and it twisted me kind of a little bit weird. And then I turned quick, and I put it in the back of the truck. And when I did that, I felt the pop. My lower back went, bam, it was out. And I was like, oh, that's not good. So I got everything rest loaded and stuff, and ran back to the house, and I had a big project going on, and I actually called a bunch of people, put an email out at church that I need help. I had this big project, need some help. So there was people coming, and I was trying to get all the supplies there that I thought needed to be there to finish the job. And you guys have seen these young gentlemen that come and help me once in a while and stuff, and other videos. Well, they were there and stuff. They helped me unload the truck. I went and got an ice pack, put it in the truck, drove to the lumberyard, the next to the lumberyard, got all the sheeting and stuff that I needed, and this and that and everything, loaded everything up. And then I was getting pretty painful. My sciatic nerve was acting up. My leg was going, shooting down, pain. The nerves are going nuts. So I knew it was coming. And a couple more people showed up from the church to help. I don't know why I'm so itchy. And I've been, because I've been laying in this bed for like 3 days. But I went back with the sheeting. They unloaded everything for me, stuff. And I told the guys, hit my back. I popped my back out. I'm going to see if I can get into a chiropractor and go in the house and sit on some ice, And I kind of said, everybody, this is what you can do, this. And I went in the house. I sat down on ice, called on my chiropractor, told him what happened. He's like, yep, come on in. Like 3:30, and we'll adjust you. And I got to have another sip. It's too much sugar. Just wet. I'm not supposed to be drinking, so I'm just kind of wet in my mouth. And so I went to the chiropractor and got the adjustment, came back, felt better. He did pop me in and stuff, and I felt pretty good. And then he goes, you're going to be hurting pretty bad. And he goes, I'll tell you what, tomorrow's Saturday. And he goes, I'll give you my cell phone number. And he says, you call me if you need an adjustment, or text me if you need an adjustment. And he said, if I come to town for any kind of shopping or something like that, I'll let you know what time I'm going to be there, and we'll meet at the office and do an adjustment. I appreciate it. So I picked up the house, told everybody, I said, I think I'm going to pack this up now. I'm going to go home, sit on ice. I got popped in, but I need to sit on ice now and let this heal a little bit, and I'll be here in the morning. So that was the plan. So I came back the next morning, and everybody was there and stuff. And a very good friend of mine, his name is Sean. He's known on Facebook. If you want to look him up, his name is Power Sport Sean. And I do snowmobile riding with him and stuff, and a bunch of different things. He's been in some of my videos, I believe. And I mentioned him quite a few times. But he's a contractor too, and he's actually in the UP. He usually works in the lower 48 and down in the lower Michigan, but he's up in the UP. So he was coming over to help me. And I was like, dude, I don't know what I can do here. I'm hurting pretty bad, and I don't want to, make this worse and stuff. And I'm going to kind of have to pass the torch off to you. And he's like, no problem. We'll get her done. So he jumped in with, these young gentlemen I always have working with me. And there was like 2 people or 3 people came from the church. And they all jumped on my project, and they're working on it. I'm icing, and then I'd come out and I'd walk around, and somebody would need something, a tool or something. I'd say it's over here, there, that, anywhere everything was. I'm just trying to assist the best I can. Then I needed another tool, and it was over at my other house. And so I rode over with a friend, and we went over to the other house, and I got out the garage. I got out the truck, I went to the garage, got the tools, put them in a bucket, and I went inside to use the bathroom. And when I came out, I asked, I said, can you carry the bucket? And they grabbed the bucket and went walking through the truck. And when I got into the truck, my right leg, my sciatic nerve just went. And it was like a 4th of July fireworks show inside my leg going off. I'm not kidding. It was the most painful thing I've had sciatic nerve before. This was just so intense. It felt like somebody was sticking an air compressor in my skin on my leg and just blowing my leg up, and my leg was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I felt like my toes were just gonna go pop 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 pop. I'm not kidding. It was the most intense pain I ever had. And I was like, I gotta try to get back to the house. And I opened the door and I came out and I leaned against the door, and then finally I took off for the house. And I got to the steps and I fell out. And then I had to do this army crawl to get back up in the house. Got on the couch, surrounded myself with ice packs. Thought I need rest. Tried to give instructions for what needed to go back, um, and that was all taken care of. And I said, sorry, I cannot go back. So I curled up in the couch and surrounded myself with ice packs, and I thought, okay, well, I'm gonna let this just ice and stuff. Maybe I just overdid it. I don't know. But Monday morning I'm gonna have a chiropractor. I'm gonna ice this and see if I can get up to move it tomorrow. Otherwise, it'll be Monday. And people were coming over to help, and they were doing all this stuff, and I'm so appreciative of all the help. And I was doing this, and I tried to sleep and stuff, and this was on Saturday, like 1 o'clock. I couldn't even sleep. I couldn't do nothing. It was finally 2 o'clock in the morning. I sent the message to my friend, a text message, and I said, I think I need to go to the hospital. Well, they didn't get it. They were sleeping, didn't hear it. And I didn't want to call an ambulance in there and wake all the neighbors up and stuff. So I decided, I'm just going to wait till like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning and take care of this. Well, 7 o'clock, the person contacted me, said, do you need to go? And I'm like, yeah, I do. So I came down and I tried to get up, and they were going to take me in the truck. And I tried to step, and as soon as I put my right foot down, I had my left foot down already. As soon as I started to step forward and put my right foot down, I started to fall. I couldn't hold myself up. And so I did this spin thing, and I landed on the armrest of the chair, and I said, give me my phone. And gave me my phone, 911, called an ambulance. I can't walk, need to go to the hospital. So they did that. Go in there. They have very limited things in that hospital. But they took a CAT scan and stuff, and they gave me a bunch of pills, and then they were like giving me this walker, and they were like, okay, well, we're going to be discharging you and stuff. And yeah, we think it's a sciatic nerve, and you got, a hemorrhaging, I don't know if hemorrhaging, but you're inflamed, disc in your spinal cord, or in your vertebrae is, inflamed, and it's pushing against your spinal cord. And I'm like, I understand that, but it feels pretty bad. I think there might be a problem. And they said, well, we can do a CAT scan. So they did a CAT scan. Then, and they definitely could see the bottom. It was all messed up in the bottom and stuff. So he's like, well, we can give you a bunch of pills, and we'll give you these scans, and you can go see a physician tomorrow, and they'll pass you on to an orthopedic person, and they'll get it all listed out. The ER can't really do a lot here. But then they saw me trying to get up, and they're like, it's too much pain. We can't let you go. So then they start calling around, and Marquette, a neurosurgeon over here in Marquette, contacted him and said he needs to be fused. That bottom vertebrae needs to be fused, and we need to get him here. So they came to me with that, and I said, yep, send me. So they put me in an ambulance, brought me over here to Marquette, Michigan, and that's where I've been waiting. And I'm over here, and I've done a MRI, and that has given some more light into the situation. And when I came over to one gentleman I talked to, I think he's like the physician's assistant or something. He came to me and he described it to me, and he said it's like a skynosis disease. And he said a lot of people are born with it, and what it is your bottom vertebrae is not actually attached to your pelvis. And so it moves all the time stuff. And he goes, you probably have a lot of chiropractic care, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And I said, but I don't think it was born this way. And he goes, well, some people can happen in trauma too. And I said, that's me. I said, I've had a lot of trauma and a lot of things. And I said, it was probably me. When they did the MRI, it actually came back showing quite a bit more because my spine, my vertebrae that's actually attached on my pelvis is got multiple cracks. It's destroyed. It's gone. It's not salvageable. And the plan was that they were going to go in and they were going to fuse that one with the next vertebrae, and it's junk. And so the doctor and the main surgeon came in and he's talked to me and he said that basically we have two options. We can leave it, and he says, I'll do a microscopic surgery, go in there and try to cut around a little bit to make room for your spinal cord so it takes away the pinching. He goes, because I'm afraid you might have a little bit of permanent damage there because it's really pinched. And he goes, well, we can do that. Maybe have to take out a little bit of the disc and everything. And he says, and then we'll pump you full of steroids to try to get that to heal up real fast. I just got to whip my mouth. It's so dry from all this medicine and stuff. And he says, we'll pump you up full of steroids like crazy. And he said, basically what's going to happen is you're going to have pain for the rest of your life. And he says, I will put you on pain pills and you'll just have to take these pain pills and you're going to be in pain for the rest of your life because there's nothing you can do about it. And he goes, and that bottom vertebrae is not able to be fused. And he goes, I could put some like glue stuff on it to help it, to hold it the best we can without fusion because it's just not enough left of it. And that's the option. And he says, any kind of like, he goes, you look kind of like a physical, like you do a lot of activities and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm outdoors all the time. He goes, that stuff is not going to be possible. He says, you're not going to be able to ride bikes. You're not going to be able to, do all this stuff. And I'm like, snowmobiling? He's like, no. He goes, snowmobiling, I'm not going to be able to do. And I says, really? And he goes, yeah. He goes, you won't even be able to swing a golf club. And I'm like, oh, come on now. How am I supposed to live my life? Sitting on a couch for the rest of my life? And he goes, I'm to tell you that the vertebrae is not going to hold if you take a big shock to it. And if it snaps off anymore, it might actually sever your spinal cord. And then you're paralyzed. And he goes, that's your one choice. And I said, what's my other choice? He goes, the other choice is we were going to fuse it, but he goes, we can't. He says, so basically what we're going to do is take that all the way out, take the membrane out. We're going to take another piece of bone that's thicker that'll fill that whole void, cut holes through it for the spinal cord and all that stuff to go through, and with all the nerves, run all that stuff through, put that bone into it, and then put some rods down through there and a bunch of screws and fuse it all together with your pelvis, screwed right into your pelvis, and lock that back up. And I'm like, that sounds like the way to go. And he says, I want to just tell you that it's going to be a very painful surgery. It's probably going to be about 2 weeks of just a horrible recovery. And then it will start to get better and I can get back to my business that I'm working on. But also that, he said after that, you're going to have about another month or two. And at that point, where you are at is basically where you're going to end up being. It's either going to really help you, or otherwise, he says it's going to hurt you. He says, and I'm going to have to be honest with you, it's a 50-50 chance. He said, I've done these surgeries, 50-50 chance. He says, it's going to be a 50% chance that we're going to do this, and it's going to work well, and you're going to get, a life back. And you're going to be able to do things, and it's going to be fused, and it's going to be strong. There's also a 50% chance it's going to backfire, and you may need some kind of walking assistant like cane or a walker or maybe even a wheelchair. And so he's giving me a 50-50 shot at this. I have sat down and done a lot of things, and as a human being, and all the activities I do and stuff, I could tell you that I've been very, very scared and very fearful. That's being a human being, I mean, we're talking, I'm maybe in a wheelchair. I lose all the things that I love, the ATVs, the side by sides, my dirt bikes, snowmobiles, all these outdoor activities. I've gotten into mountain biking lately, it's pedal bike and stuff and everything. It's just giving up my whole life. And I asked him what kind of activity, and he even said golf. And I'm like, really? I can't even swing a golf club? And I'm like, I can't live that way. And so if there's a 50% chance, I would have to go that way. Well, I told them that I would do the surgery, and then I decided that, and they put me in a box yesterday, and I decided I needed some time, and I have been just praying about it and talking to God about it, and I have come to the conclusion that I'm going to put this in God's hands, and I believe that He will watch over, and maybe how do I want to say this? I can't sit here and say, okay, God, heal me and make me all better. And what happens if I don't? What happens if I had the surgery and I get into a wheelchair? Here's what I believe. I am putting this in God's hands, and whatever happens, God has a plan for me. If I end up in a wheelchair, then He's got a plan for me. If I don't end up in a wheelchair, He's got a plan for me. I'm just going to put my trust in God and let Him take the wheel from right now. And I was reading this right here. This is Psalm 91. And those who live in the shelter of the Most High and will find a rest in the shadow of the Almighty. This I declare about the Lord. He alone is my refuge, my place of safety. He is my God, and I trust Him. And I skipped on a couple different passages, but His faith-filled promises are your armor and your protection. And like over here, I highlighted this, for He will order His angels to protect you wherever you go. The Lord says, I will rescue from those who love me. I will rescue those who love me. I will protect those who trust in my name. When they call on me, I will answer. I will be with them in trouble. I will rescue and honor them. I will reward them with a long life and give them my salvation. And it goes on and everything. But that's a passage that I've been kind of looking at and everything else. And I am a believer, and I am a Christian. And as a human being, I'm scared, but I know He's got me. And so I'm going to trust in Him. And they have just come in. The surgery was supposed to be yesterday at 2:30, and they had an emergency happen, something, and they had to have my spot. There was an emergency. And so I got pushed in, and it got pushed till today. And I was told it was going to be 2:30 today. They just came in a few minutes ago and said, hey, you've been bumped up. You're second in line now. 10:30. They're going to take it on at 9. So I'm heading down for surgery today at 10:30. I'll be in a surgery, and they're going to do some major back surgery on me. And I'm just going to pray that God is going to watch over the surgeon's hands and guide him. And hopefully this works. And if it doesn't, then I know that He has another plan for me, and we'll see what that's going to be. So that's where I am. That's what's going on. I'm in Marquette, Michigan, and I'm about ready to go into surgery, and it's pretty major. So I'm going to let you guys go. I hope that everybody out there is having themselves a great day, a great night, while you're watching this video. And if you're not, you can always just try it all over again tomorrow. So all that I'm asking for you guys, I know people are going to say, can I help you? Can I do anything? Just pray for me. Just pray that God has me in His hands. That's all I can ask. Bye.